AITA for ruining my brother's childhood memory by admitting I photoshopped it 14 years ago? When my younger brother, 20 now, was 6, he went through a huge Harry Potter phase. He loved the wizarding world and believed he might meet Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe, or the other characters on a family trip to Scotland since Hogwarts was there. No one promised him this, but he convinced himself it could happen. Sadly, the trip was cancelled after our grandpa passed away, and my brother was devastated for both reasons. To cheer him up, I decided to craft a souvenir. I was 16 and had just discovered Photoshop, so I edited a picture of my brother with Daniel Radcliffe to make it look like they'd met. I printed it, framed it, and gave it to him without telling him it was fake. He loved it and fully believed he'd met Daniel. Soon, he had an entire story about the meeting, what they talked about, how Daniel hugged him, etc. It was so sweet, and none of us, my family and I, had the heart to tell him the truth. Fast forward 14 years, and my brother still didn't know that the old, low-quality picture of him meeting Daniel Radcliffe is fake. I never told him because his memory of the fake meeting felt so real to him that it became one of his proudest stories. Over time the memory became less important and the framed picture had been packed away in some box, and my brother has long outgrown his Harry Potter obsession. Yesterday, however, we were at our parents' home and we were bringing up old memories, you know how it goes. The story of meeting Daniel Radcliffe came up, and thinking it was harmless, I told him the truth. I thought he'd laugh but instead he got visibly upset. He didn't want to believe me at first, thinking I was messing with him. I told him the real story of how and why I did it. He told me that it feels like I robbed him of a real childhood memory that he really cherished, and he feels embarrassed thinking about all the times he's told people about meeting Daniel Radcliffe in person, even recently. We ended our conversation on a semi-good note though. I apologized for not telling him sooner, because I do feel bad that it meant so much to him even now. But I don't regret it. Back then, it made him so happy during a rough time, and I don't regret giving him that joy. I just didn't realize how much it still meant to him. So I'm just wondering, or was, I the a-hole? Top comment, NTA. It's like Santa. You did it with good intentions and he never met him. He was 6, now he is 20. Maybe disappointing, but he's 20 years old. It would be worse to continue the fantasy for an adult. I am sure no one ever thought at the time this would be the result 14 years later. Sounds like he just never got the memo it wasn't real, much worse things that can happen as an adult. Comment, I don't get why people are comparing this to Santa. This feels so extreme that everyone kept up this lie for so long. You're almost 10 years older than him, why didn't you or anyone else tell him sooner? Your grandfather died, he was a child grieving, this false memory would have been so easy for a young kid to cling onto in the midst of all that. It seems so cruel to do this for years except your brother. Comment, YTA for not telling him sooner. This is not like Santa or the Easter Bunny or unicorns or anything like that. This is something that could have actually happened and there was no way for him to know it didn't really happen. There are better ways to cheer up a kid than lying to them. This is seriously insane that you allowed this to go on for so long. If my family had told me I met someone or had visited a specific country as a kid and had a photo that looked real I would absolutely believe it. I don't have much of a memory at that age and anyone who says they actually do probably have false memories like your sibling. This is a horrible and weird thing to do to someone you care about. Update. Apparently, the consensus is that I'm kind of an a-hole, but like a well-meaning one? I'll take it. The thing that amused me the most, though, was how everyone just assumed I'm my brother's older brother. For the record, I never said that. Could be his sister, could be his sibling, it's 2024, people, let's not default to dudes all the time. Anyways, a lot of people told me to find a way to contact Daniel Radcliffe for real and get some kind of message to my brother. While I appreciate the ambition, I don't exactly have Daniel's number lying around, and cold calling celebrities isn't in my skill set. Besides, I figured my brother might appreciate a bit of humor over me spiraling into some overly elaborate apology plan. We hadn't seen each other since my post, but we finally met up Saturday, and I brought him a new photoshopped picture of 20-year-old him with Daniel Radcliffe, captioned, "Reunited at last." I just made it on my phone, and thankfully, he loved it, and definitely doesn't think it's real this time. Seriously though, we had another conversation about the whole situation. My brother said it was still crappy to find out like this, and so late, but that he appreciates me telling the truth. I asked him about the memory and how it felt so real to him, since a lot of comments were wondering that too. He said that, looking back, It's possible he knew it wasn't real at first but started telling a story about it to impress his friends, and somewhere along the way, he started believing his own hype. I also told him about the Reddit post, and we had a good laugh reading through some of the comments together. But when I jokingly asked if I could share either photo, he gave me a hard no. So, sorry, Reddit, these masterpieces stay in the family.